Hey everyone, I'm Sakar, and I want to do a little bit of a different video today. I want to talk about the top rated MMOs that there are right now and kind of talk about the population of each one and where each one falls, because I think that there are some MMOs that are really popular and really good, but they kind of rank a little bit lower on the popularity scale. So let's get started with that. So first things first, let's look at our list. This comes from mmopopulation.com. And there are a few things on here that I kind of haven't seen that are kind of like, I don't know, I feel like they could be better and kind of a little bit different. So I wanted to start at like the 100, around the 100 mark. And there are a lot of games that I'm going to be honest, I've just straight up never heard of. Like, I don't know. EverQuest, that's cool. That's even on the list with less than 2,000. World of Warcraft Classic with 2,400, which is cool to see, but honestly, that's kind of shocking, to be honest. So, and then World of Warcraft at 5,000 players, like, I don't know if this thing is accurate or not, but like having World of Warcraft be that low, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like that's pretty, I don't know, I feel like that's kind of weird to see. And so as we get started, I do want to also go up and talk about this. So my main game is Elder Scrolls Online, right? And so I kind of want to talk about more than just uh, Elder Scrolls Online as far as MMOs go. So it's just kind of crazy to see. So you have stuff like RuneScape that's at 5,800, which is, look, RuneScape's one of those games that's been around for, I can't even tell you how long at this point. It's been around for so long. And so it's kind of crazy to see that it's still on the list going strong. Is it as popular as it once was? Probably not, no. But to see it still on the list and in the top 50, I think that's really respectable. We're looking over Wizard 101, 8,500, Star Trek Online, 10K, Neverwinter, almost 13K. I love that. Dude, good for them. Old school RuneScape. There we go. Sorry, I got it mixed up. My bad. Old school RuneScape. That's more like it. 1,400 players. You love to see it. Lord of the Rings Online. Wow, cool to see this. Star Wars: Old Republic, 24,000. And then here is where I wanted to get to the list of things that I really wanted to talk about. New World. New World's one of those games where, oh my goodness, I've never seen a developer just fumble a bag so hard. You have this game which starts off with a really strong amount of players and then drops off drastically, and the game kind of gets boring, stale, and then a few years later, you have an update where unanimously everybody's like, oh, this is great. Game's got legs again. It's going in the right direction. Everybody's like, yeah, I really, really, really like this right now. And then the developer's like, oh, by the way, we're done funding this. We're done pushing this forward. So that's kind of sad to see. So New World, I'm expecting it just to drop and drop and drop until the servers are taken offline, which, you know what, that's kind of sad. And so as we continue to go up, it's kind of crazy to see because look, I always talk about, hey, is ESO dead? Talking about stuff like that because it's kind of one of those things where you just don't see a lot of new players. Genshin Impact up here, 56,000. We're not even at ESO yet. Roblox, 56.5 thousand. So it's like, dude, these are, it's crazy to see. So we're going to keep on going because I have things that I want to talk about this. Guild Wars 2, which is which a lot of people that I talk to in ESO, they're like, oh, I like Guild Wars 2 combat. It's very similar to ESO combat, but it's just kind of managed a little bit better. But again, I don't know anything about that. Sea of Thieves, I didn't really realize Sea of Thieves was considered an MMO, but I could be wrong. Diablo 4, again, all right, 120,000. That's not bad. And then now we're getting into the top 10 of the list. Once Human is crazy to see on the list because I'm going to be honest, when it first came out, everybody was really on board with that. And I kind of wrote it off as an MMO of the week, but seeing it still in the top 10, probably, what is this, over a year later? When did Once Human come out? Well, over a year later. Honestly, good for them. That's really solid. I hope that it continues to be successful. And then we have at number 9, my game, The Elder Scrolls Online, 202,000. That's honestly, it's impressive. It's very impressive to see. So I just have questions about that. Stuff like, I just have questions like, why is the Twitch scene so dead for ESO? I feel like you can do some fun stuff with that. I feel like you can do some really fun stuff with that. Like, I want to look at this. So let me bring up another window and bring this over right now. So I'm looking at ESO. We've got 202 players right now. And then if we do this, we go to the Twitch scene for Elder Scrolls Online. We go to that, and we've got 2.1 thousand viewers. So 2.1 thousand viewers, like those are the only amount of people that are playing it right here, right? Compared to the 202,000 people that are playing it. So about 1/100th of the population currently plays or watches ESO. And so how do you make it so that there's more of a hype around that? Because I feel like Twitch is kind of like that first line of defense when it comes to kind of popularity, when it comes to kind of getting that rapport for the game. Honestly, it's kind of like their first line of customer support, more or less, and being like, hey, should I play this game? It's kind of like your advertising. I feel like that's what Twitch is in the current state of things, is advertising. And so for me, seeing this at number 9, I think that's really cool. And honestly, I was very shocked by it. But that being said, why is it not higher for this? It's just crazy to see. So it's just a really weird question. But let's move on for the rest of our top 10, and then I'll talk about that a little bit more. So we have something like Destiny 2, 230,000. I wonder how many people Destiny 2 has. 1.5 views. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize that the genre was that dead. Destiny 2 is usually the kind of thing where you usually see a lot of people in there. Black Desert Online, 245,000. I wonder how that is. Black Desert Online, 4.7 thousand. Again, we're rising in viewership. We're seriously rising in viewership, so that's cool. And then Throne and Liberty, again, what's really cool, what's really crazy to see is Throne and Liberty was another one of those games where when it first came out last year, I was dismissing it as another MMO of the week. But it's going strong. It's higher than ESO right now, and I'm really happy to see that. I'm really glad to see that it's thriving right now. And then Final Fantasy 16, we had no 11. Wait, what's XI? That's 11, right? Final Fantasy 11. I don't know, man. I don't know. Either way, Path of Exile 2, Warframe, War Thunder, and Path of Exile. Bro, you have Path of Exile and Path of Exile 2 as 1 and 4. That's insane. With a combined, so Path of Exile's got 2.1 million people on here today. Insane to see. And Path of Exile 2, 333,000. So you combine those, you're at like almost 250,000. Crazy to see. It's like one game, basically, one game franchise, basically holding the 1 and 4 position. Awesome to see. So I want to look at stuff like this. I think stuff like this is very interesting to see, because if let's look at this. So Path of Exile, I want to see how this is. Let's do one first. 68,000 viewers. Whoa. That's crazy. What are these games doing differently than games like ESO and other MMOs that are making these Twitch categories pop off? Because in my opinion, the way that you have these games pop off and just have continuous, just have any kind of continuous hype around it, is you keep that hype on Twitch alive. Because if you keep the hype on Twitch alive, more advertising, people are going to stop by, be like, hey, is it worth playing? Yes, it is. No, it's not. All that stuff. Let's do Path of Exile. Wait, which one was first? Path of Exile was number 1. War Thunder. Let's look at that. War Thunder. That's crazy. What? I don't understand. I don't understand. 1.7 thousand viewers. Number 2 on the list with 1 million players. 1,100,000 more or less. And then Warframe number 3. I want to see this. Warframe number 3. What is this? 2.5 thousand viewers. I'm sorry, I don't get it. I don't get it. What is Path of Exile doing where these games are taking over in the viewer list, whereas these ones are kind of just dropping off more or less? ESO has been around for 12 years basically at this point, and to have it in the top 10 still, very impressive. I do talk shit about it, but honestly, that is a very impressive feat. Seeing Destiny just dropping here too, it's kind of sad to see. Are there any other MMOs that I'm missing on this list? Because like, I felt like World of Warcraft would have been so much higher. I'm curious as to see what World of Warcraft is gonna look like. Yeah, like, dude, it's crazy. I feel like there's got to be something wrong with that, because like, I don't know, it feels like it's not properly on this list. I don't know. I feel like World of Warcraft is like, that's like kind of your go-to, your standard, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. This entire website could be wrong. I don't know. It's just whatever. But I feel like for these games to succeed and be able to thrive, yes, you have to obviously have a great game and be able to like have combat and stuff around that, but to be able to have actually good Twitch campaigns and be able to keep that hype alive in there, that's what I really feel like keeps those communities thriving and thriving and thriving. Because, dude, the difference between number 1 and number 2 is literally a 1 million player difference. Insane to see. Very, very, very insane to see. So I don't know. I feel like we saw the Path of Exile had like 70,000 viewers, whereas the next closest one had like 2,000, 3,000. There's not really much there. So I'm curious to see how it goes. Like, are you do you guys see stuff like this? Like, are you also, when you go to try out a new game, are you like, hey, let me check out on Twitch first before I go get it? Because I feel like that's kind of one of the ways to go. But how do you guys check your games? Because that's how I do it personally. And I don't know, it makes me kind of just raise some questions about this, and I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, anyways, guys, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. Do me a giant favor, hit that thumbs up button for me. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on the next video. All right, later.